Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. In this part 2 of 2 for Tuesday, we are talking about Princess Eugenie, one of the York princesses, and we are going to be talking about how her tiara influenced her moving forward. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Tarot Maniacs. So, emeralds have always had a mystical reputation, protection, insights, even omens. When Princess Eugenie walked down the aisle wearing the tiara with the Russian soul, she might have been crowned with more than just beauty. We know there was a lot of difficulty, and that some elements may have wanted that tiara for themselves. But let's see what happens. This weekend, Greg and I are going to be talking about the Hope Diamond on our Super Nat Sat show that we're doing together. It's going to be our second episode. And one of the things that we are going to talk about in that episode in a bit more detail is how stones, crystals, things like that can hold information, objects as well. I've told the story about the trunk upstairs that we did some reading of it with my husband and my son. We got some interesting results on that. But go into an antique shop. You'll have some fun touching some objects. It's one of the skills, one of the homework assignments that I give to my psychic students so that they can hone their skills a little bit better. We'll talk about that again in this Saturday's video on the Hope Diamond. But for today, we are going to talk about Princess Eugenie. Princess Eugenie is not my favorite of the York girls. She was initially, and then she seemed to empathize and cozy up to the Sussexes a little bit too much, and I felt that was kind of a show of a lack of loyalty to the queen and to the inbound monarch. So let's take a look and see how she's doing in her current family, career. I don't love her husband either. I'm just going to be honest. But if you've missed part 1, go back and take a look at Beatrice's haunted wedding gown. It's not really haunted, but it's energy filled, which some people may call haunted. But we're going to take a look at Eugenie in this one. So if you want, go look at the old video, the one I did earlier, and we'll talk about this one. Both of them are going to be set up as premieres, so I'll be in the chat with you guys. So before I bring up the cards, please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm and certainly helps out my channel, lets YouTube know you all like what I do. So let's bring that over, make it nice and big. So what is Eugenie's current status, family, career, and royal standing? Let's look at those 3. This is Eugenie family. 8 of Cups, 6 of Cups. Knight of Sword. Here is her career. So in her family, I think that we maybe just went through a little bit of a rough patch, and maybe have recommitted to each other. Again, don't love her husband. But it looks like they almost are like in a second honeymoon phase. I know it's hard when you have kids. Kids gets chaotic, gets busy, your attention gets diverted in other directions. Sometimes people feel neglected, but I think they just went through a rough patch. And I think that rough patch may continue a little bit more. Seems like one of the parties is not being as forthcoming as possible, and is not is being a little selfish. I'm just going to say that, a little selfish. So as far as her career, um, and I can't recall what she does. I feel like she some kind of art history kind of thing. Um, but it looks like she's second guessing that. And I do think that this one wants to be more of a royal power player. So let's pull up that royal standing. We're going to clean up this real estate, clean it up, put those over there. How about her royal standing? 7 of Wands in reverse, 9 of Cups. Oh, 9 of Wands, all in the reverse position. I don't think they trust her further than they can throw her. Specifically William. I think William is looking, despite her being a blood relation, I think William is really looking at her with a very, very cautious eye. I don't think that she is someone that he feels is bending the knee quite enough. I don't think that he thinks that she is, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I don't think he trusts her at all. How's Catherine feel? Catherine's feeling is family, but that is something I think that could potentially get Catherine, the Princess of Wales, into some trouble. You can't just say family is family. You can circle the wagons, but sometimes people, I don't think she has betrayed the family in the manner that other parties have, if you know who I'm talking about. But I think Catherine's opinion of Eugenie is a little bit different, So, why is William so resistant? I keep getting this sense of they want to wait until Andrew is not a problem anymore before they bring these girls back into public eye. He needs to not be a problem anymore. Ooh, does that mean they're waiting for him to leave the earth plane? I don't know. I mean, that just seems very impractical. He's not that old. As far as we know, he doesn't have a lot of health issues. We did see that with the Duke of Edinburgh. The Duke of Edinburgh has seemed rather slight and thin. Um, Slighter and thinner than one who is robustly healthy. So we haven't even seen any indications of poor health from Andrew at all. So I do think that they really would like the Andrew problem to not be a problem. And I don't know if we ever have that clock run out. So let's ask that. Will Andrew eventually not be a problem? And we got a jump out card. 8 of Swords. Andrew is always going to be tainted by the Epstein situation. He's never going to escape that. Will the girls escape that? Beatrice? Beatrice has a better relationship, I think, with William, Catherine, the king. Eugenie? Eugenie, I think they eventually do let her come and participate. I think they're a match set, Beatrice and Eugenie. I think they have to be together. I think they have to appear at weddings together. After the get-ups that they had, they're fascinators at William and Catherine's wedding. I think it's almost assumed that they are going to come outlandishly dressed up. There's a little bit of Anastasia and Drizella that is put in there. Anastasia and Drizella were the stepsisters for Cinderella. So there's something about that. So will she what is influencing her rise in the royal family? So we have bending the knee. Again, we're talking about Eugenie, the younger of the sisters, bending the knee and shutting her mouth, not telling secrets. What's negatively affecting her? The world in reverse and temperance. I am going to say that temperance card, I think sometimes she speaks a little too much. I think she gets very comfortable, maybe gets a couple gin and tonics or a couple glasses of wine in her. And then I think she talks a little too much. So we got that. So now Eugenie has focused herself as a family person, charity minded. How is that family life going? How's her family life going right now? I know we just did a little bit of that. So she's 10th in line to the throne. What is the destiny of her family life? Four of Wands. In the moment, they are enjoying the situation. But I said before, I think there was a little kerfuffle just recently. What about her shunning royal protocol? She seems to be kind of skirting around the edges of that, her royal protocol. Let's see. Two of Cups. Six of Pentacles. I think she has gotten the memo that it may not be the best idea to be the cool kid who doesn't want to be rich anymore. We'll call that Harry syndrome for just arbitrary reasons. We'll call it Harry syndrome. But I do believe that Harry was putting the baseball cap on sideways and rapping in mirrors, going, "Wouldn't it be great if I was a rap superstar? I could be Ginger Ice." I think he had these illusions that celebrity, exploiting some talent in oneself is better than being born into a royal family. I think he had these dreams and ideas that maybe he could be something bigger. Ooh, I'm so sorry, guys. Bigger than the royal family. I don't know what's bigger than the royal family, but and I think that Eugenie at one point thought that the royal family was dorky and square. And I think now, as she's getting older, she has more of an appreciation for the way that she was raised and for the life that she was raised in. And I think to a certain extent that Fergie was the same way. Fergie, according to legend, was having cannabis delivered to the gates. And she was going down there and picking it up herself, not necessarily in her dressing gown, but she was going down there and picking up her stash that was delivered to palace grounds. Probably not the smartest thing anyone has ever done. And I think living kind of a baser life, living kind of a cool life, is something that I think Eugenie caught wind of. Beatrice, I do think that she was a bit cozier with the queen. That's not to say that Eugenie did not have a good relationship with the queen, but I think Beatrice was more enamored of the whole concept of being the queen and the pomp and circumstance behind all of that. So that being said, let's get into the haunted object section of this reading. So what is this business about haunted objects? So these aren't necessarily haunted objects, but I did want to talk this week about objects and how they can transmit energy to us. So there are all sorts of things. You can borrow a wedding dress, a christening gown, any of those things, and impart the passage of time, the energy, the strength of ancestors, that sort of thing. And so for the wedding, Eugenie wore the Greville Emerald Kokoshnik. It was an Art Deco design with emeralds and diamonds. And it was in the Russian Kokoshnik style, which is a style of tiaras. Not like a bandeau. It's kind of like pointy in the middle and it comes down. So the gems are thought to hold memory, energy, especially emeralds, because they are linked to protection, prophecy, and loyalty. So what do we think about this amazing and beautiful tiara that she chose for her wedding? What energy does that particular tiara, Kokoshnik, kind of energy does it carry? The Tower in reverse. It is a destructive. Ooh, 6 of Wands. I don't know if I would have worn this tiara to my wedding. 10 of Pentacles, the Moon in reverse, and the Page of Wands. So, all right, that makes me feel a little bit better. So the 4 of Swords is in the unconscious position down here. The 10 of Pentacles is in reverse here. The Moon is in reverse here. The 6 of Wands, the Tower, all in reverse. The only card that is in the upright is the future of the Page of Wands, which indicates a little bit more of a phoenix energy from it, rising from the ashes, rising from losing one's place, from be a lack of success, having it all out on the playing field for everyone to see. This particular tiara says Phoenix energy to me, to be crushed and buried and to rise like a zombie from the ruin that may have happened. So I do like that kind of energy in that tiara. You guys, you actually can do this with like wedding rings, diamonds. That's one of the things, anyone that tells me that they are going to get a family diamond or a family piece of family jewelry, I always tell them, have it cleansed professionally, and have it cleansed by someone who knows either how to sound cleanse, or you can smudge it with some incense or anything like that. You can say a couple prayers over, have it blessed, certainly by a priest, if that is your forte. It really is super, super important to do that. So, how did wearing it influence Eugenie's life and destiny? Very interesting, because she did align herself with the Harkles for a little bit. 7 of Cups in reverse, Queen of Cups in the upright, 6 of Swords, rescue and recovery, 9 of Wands getting back behind that, and 10 of Wands. Top is Page of Swords. Underneath, we have the King of Swords. So the Page of Swords relays messages. The Page of Swords will provide the information, will be the message carrier, the Paul Revere of Swords. And the King of Swords in reverse is knowing her place. Knowing her place is not the message maker, but this message giver. This one is the message maker. So out of a mess, we reestablish those binds. This is that catastrophe we were talking about, the alignment with those cool cousins over in the United States living in super cool California. So this is rising from the ashes there, going back to the royal family, going back to what is tried and true, and sticking with that. But knowing her place, bending her knee, this absolutely is giving some influence for Eugenie. So is there a hidden blessing in this particular Kokoshnik. Hidden blessing. Boom. Boom. It is the blessing of restarting. It is the blessing of having your roots ripped out and being able to start again. Surviving revolution is the energy that is coming through with that emerald. And I'm not talking about the Russian Revolution. I'm talking about a revolutionary spirit, more of the spirit of the Phoenix here. What about a warning? Seven of Wands. You cannot have a foot in each camp. You have to pick a side and stick with it. And I think Eugenie will likely do that sometime soon. So, all in all, what does she need to know for right now? All in all, let's see what she needs to know. Five of Cups, Hermit in reverse, and the Emperor. You cannot save them all, Princess Eugenie. You cannot fight the battles of others. You cannot fight someone else's proxy war for them. You need to look at all of the information that you have at hand. You're going to find some of that information is unreliable sources. And ultimately, you are the Emperor and the director of where your loyalties lie. Where do your loyalties lie, Miss Eugenie? So I think she will choose wisely. I think she will recommit herself to the British royal family. I think the offer of safety in the sanctuary of the royal family is coming soon for her. I think it is coming soon. But we will see. We will see as she grows and develop. I think she just went through a little rough patch in her marriage. Everybody goes through rough patches in their marriage. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't mean that, they're breaking up and things are falling apart. It's not happening like that. Be interesting to see her grow up a little. I feel there is some growing up that she does need to do. I think there was a very childlike kind of stomping of the feet and unfairness that was discussed and she latched onto. And I think she is moving away from that as she matures with children of her own and a marriage of her own and her own branch of the family tree. So let's hope that she continues to choose a good path. In the meantime, if you'd like your own magical reading with me, and you'd like to explore the energies around your life or around an object even, you can book a reading down below. I've got lots of sales going on right now. And I do want to refer everyone to Otter Spirit. It will be in the link. I am an ambassador for Otter Spirits, an intentional jewelry company. Much like the influence of this particular tiara, Otter Spirit can influence your mood, your psychic ability, your stability, your anxieties. It can bolster and affect that through the energetic emissions of crystal. So you can shop by intention, birthstone, or your birth sign. So you can get in there and you can make all kinds of adjustments. I'm having a great time mixing and matching the different sets that I have already and playing around with the energies. So yesterday I had all of them on, so I was having a good time with that. But thank you so much for being here. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. I've got lots of new subscribers here. We are going to have our weekly live on Thursday. I forgot that I did have some things booked for tonight. So weekly live will be on Thursday. It'll go from members to general audience. And I hope to see some of you guys there. So I will see you in the future, but let me know what you think down below. Your comments are super, super welcome. We're going to be looking at spooky stuff now through Halloween and having a great time doing it. So I will see you in the next one.